Before you say yes to that proposal, pause. Marriage isn't just a wedding day, it's a lifetime. And the wrong choice can turn that lifetime into a test you weren't ready for. Ask yourself these 7 questions first, because your heart might be ready, but is your soul prepared? Question 1. Why am I getting married? Before you even think about the wedding dress, the guest list, or the honeymoon, stop and ask yourself this. Why? If your answer is, because everyone my age is getting married, because I don't want to be alone, because I'm in love, then pause. These reasons may feel strong now, but they're fragile. They can fade when real life begins. In Islam, marriage is not just a social milestone, it's an act of worship. It's a path to complete half your deen, to guard yourself from sin, to create a home where Allah is remembered, and to raise a family that pleases Him. If your reason is to please Allah, that intention becomes your anchor when storms hit. When your spouse makes mistakes, when financial struggles come, when you face disagreements, you will remind yourself, I got married for Allah, and I will handle this for Allah. But if you marry only for feelings, fun, or pressure from people, you will find yourself questioning your decision the moment those feelings fade or challenges appear. So, write your answer down. Be brutally honest with yourself. Because your reason for marrying will shape every decision you make in your marriage and will decide whether your home becomes a place of peace or a place of pain. Question 2. Do I truly know myself? Before you choose someone to share your life with, you must first know who you really are. Too many people rush into marriage thinking the other person will complete them. But if you don't know your own values, your own boundaries, and your own dreams, you will end up losing yourself in the relationship. Ask yourself, what matters most to me in life? What are my non-negotiables? A. G. Daily prayer, honesty, modesty, no lying, no haram income. What are my weaknesses and am I working on them? What kind of life do I want to build and can I clearly explain it to someone else? When you know yourself, you make better choices. You won't say yes out of fear of being alone. You won't ignore red flags just because someone makes you laugh or buys you gifts. And you won't compromise on your deen just to avoid disappointing others. If you enter marriage without self-awareness, you risk becoming a person you don't even recognize. You might wake up years later wondering, how did I get here? This isn't the life I wanted. Knowing yourself is not selfish, it's preparation. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us to be intentional in our actions, and marriage is one of the biggest actions of your life. So spend time alone with your thoughts. Write in a journal. Pray to Allah for clarity, because if you don't know yourself, you will let someone else define you, and that's a dangerous way to start a marriage. Question 3. Can I live with their worst side? When we meet someone in the early stages, we usually see only their best side, the smiles, the nice clothes, the polite words. But marriage is not about seeing the best version once in a while. It's about living with every version, even the one that's tired, stressed, frustrated, or sick. So ask yourself honestly, if I saw them on their worst day, could I still treat them with respect? If they lost their temper once in a while, could I handle it without hating them? If life hit us hard, illness, loss, financial struggles, would I still choose them? Because here's the truth. No one stays perfect forever. Looks fade, energy drops, moods swing, and flaws become visible. If you marry thinking, they'll always be this sweet, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ reminded us that no believing man should hate a believing woman. If he dislikes one quality, he should remember another he likes. That means you must look at the whole person, not just one perfect image in your mind. Marry the reality, not the potential. Don't say, "Oh, they'll change later." People can improve, yes, but never marry expecting a transformation that hasn't happened yet. Before you say yes, try to imagine, if this is the version of them I get for the rest of my life without upgrades, can I still love and respect them? If the answer is no, then the marriage will feel heavy the moment the honeymoon phase ends. Question 4. Is their faith and character strong? When it comes to choosing a spouse, many people look at career, looks, or family background first. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us a clear priority: Deen, faith, and good manners. Why? Because money can disappear, beauty can fade, status can drop. But a heart that fears Allah and a character that reflects the Sunnah will stay steady no matter what storms life brings. Faith means more than just calling oneself Muslim. It's the way they pray, the way they speak, the way they handle anger, the way they treat people who can't benefit them. It's how they earn their income. Is it halal or haram? It's whether they lower their gaze, whether they are truthful even when it's hard. Character is the daily proof of faith. Someone may appear religious on the outside, but if they are harsh, selfish, or dishonest in private, that religion is incomplete. Ask yourself, do they keep their promises? Do they speak kindly to parents, siblings, and strangers? Do they stay calm in disagreements, or do they explode? Do they admit mistakes and seek forgiveness? Remember, marriage is not just a romance, it's a partnership in building a home that pleases Allah. If their faith is weak, that home will have cracks from the start. If their manners are poor, love will turn into bitterness. So don't be blinded by surface attraction. Look at their salah, their honesty, their patience, their generosity, because when beauty and wealth are gone, it's faith and character that will keep you holding hands at the end of the journey. Question 5. Am I ready to give, not just take? Many people enter marriage thinking, what will I get? But the real question is, what am I ready to give? Because marriage is not a business transaction, it's an ongoing act of service, patience, and sacrifice for the sake of Allah. Sometimes it will feel fair, both of you giving equally, but there will be days when your spouse can't give much at all. Maybe they're sick, stressed, or going through personal struggles. In those moments, you might need to give 80% or even 100% without expecting anything back right away. True love isn't just in words. It's in staying up at night to comfort your spouse when they're upset, in taking on extra chores when they're exhausted, in forgiving mistakes even when you're hurt. If you're not willing to put in that kind of effort, you're not ready for marriage. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam served his family at home. He mended his clothes, helped with chores, and treated his wives with kindness and patience. If he, the best of creation, served at home, then serving your spouse should never feel beneath you. When you give without keeping score, Allah places barakah in your marriage. Small acts of kindness, a gentle word, a warm meal, a smile after a long day can soften hearts and strengthen the bond between you. If you enter marriage expecting it to be all about your needs, your comfort, and your happiness, you will quickly become disappointed. Marriage is a two-way street, but some days you will need to be the one carrying more of the load. And that's okay, because you're doing it for Allah. If you can't imagine putting someone else's needs before your own sometimes, then be honest, you may not be ready for marriage yet. Question 6. Do our life goals match? Marriage is like a journey, and if you and your spouse are not heading in the same direction, you will constantly feel like you're pulling against each other. A shared vision means you both agree on the big picture of your life together. It doesn't mean you have to agree on every tiny detail, but the main destination must be the same. Think about it. If you want to live a simple, quiet life close to family, but your spouse dreams of building a big business abroad, one of you will eventually feel like they are giving up everything for the other. If you value raising children with Islamic education, but your spouse sees religious upbringing as optional, that's not a small difference. That's a deep conflict waiting to happen. When your vision for life matches, you naturally work as a team. Every decision, from where to live, to how to spend money, to how to raise your children, becomes easier because you're both pulling in the same direction. But when your visions are far apart, even small decisions become arguments. Simple conversations about jobs, travel, or family visits turn into emotional battles because your goals are not aligned. A shared vision doesn't remove all problems, but it reduces unnecessary conflict. And in marriage, less conflict means more peace, more love, and more room for mercy to grow between you. Before marriage, talk about your future like you're planning a map together. If the map takes you to the same destination, the journey will be smoother even when the road is bumpy. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is assuming that love will magically solve every problem after marriage. The truth is, love alone is not enough. Many marriages collapse not because the couple didn't love each other, but because they never had the right conversations before saying yes. Before the Nikah, you need to talk about the big topics openly, honestly, and without fear of offending each other. These conversations might feel uncomfortable, but they will save you from years of pain later. Here are the key areas to discuss. 1. Children. Do you both want children? If yes, how many? When do you plan to start? How will you raise them, especially regarding Islamic education, discipline, and values? Who will primarily care for them, and what role will each parent play? 2. Work. Career. Will both of you work outside the home? If yes, how will you balance household responsibilities? Are you okay with moving for a job? What if one spouse earns much more than the other? 3. Finances. How will money be managed? Joint account, separate accounts, or a mix? What are your spending habits? Are you a saver or a spender? How will you handle debt or unexpected expenses? Will you give regular sadaqah or zakat together? 4. Lifestyle. Do you prefer a quiet, simple life or a busy, social one? Do you want to live close to family or independently? Are you comfortable with frequent travel or moving to different cities, countries? Why this matters? If you skip these talks, you're essentially walking into marriage blind. These topics will come up eventually, and if you discover huge differences after the wedding, it's much harder to resolve. By talking before the Nikah, you're not being unromantic, you're being wise. You're protecting your marriage before it even begins. When two people get married, they are not just combining their lives, they are combining their values. Values are the invisible rules and priorities that shape how you make decisions, treat others, and see the world. If your core values match, you can overcome many challenges. If they don't match, even small disagreements can turn into major fights. Details in life will change. Jobs, income, houses, and even where you live can shift over time. But values are like the foundation of a house. If they are weak or mismatched, the whole structure is unstable. For example, spending, saving. If you value living within your means and your spouse values luxury spending, money will always cause tension. Religion, morality. If you see Islam as the center of life but your spouse treats it casually, you will face constant friction over daily practices, lifestyle choices, and even raising children. Family relationships. If you believe in strong family ties but your spouse prefers distance, this will affect how you celebrate Eid, handle family gatherings, and support elders. When your values align, you can compromise on the smaller details without resentment. For example, if you both value simplicity, it won't matter whether your home is in a city or village, you'll make it peaceful together. If you both value Islamic upbringing, you'll naturally agree on schooling and environment for your kids. Think of values as the compass that keeps you both heading in the right direction. Even if you take different paths or make different short-term choices, you'll still be walking toward the same purpose. Before marriage, take time to deeply understand your own values, then discuss them openly with your potential spouse. Details can be negotiated later, but values must be understood first. No matter how much you love each other or how aligned your values are, you will never be identical. You are two unique people with different personalities, habits, and life experiences, and that's not a weakness. It's part of the beauty of marriage. The problem is, many couples enter marriage expecting their spouse to think, act, and react exactly like them. When this doesn't happen, frustration builds. The truth is, marriage isn't about becoming clones of each other. It's about learning to live peacefully with your differences. You may like waking up early, while your spouse prefers late nights. You may enjoy quiet weekends, while your spouse thrives on social gatherings. These differences aren't right or wrong, they're simply different. Respecting them means not forcing the other person to live entirely by your preferences. Respecting differences also means knowing where to draw the line. If your spouse needs alone time to recharge, give them that space without taking it personally. If you need certain personal habits respected, communicate them calmly. Boundaries are not walls, they're guidelines that help love grow without suffocation. Sometimes, what frustrates you at first might become the reason you admire your spouse later. If you are cautious and your spouse is adventurous, they may push you to experience life in new ways. If you are highly emotional and your spouse is more logical, they can help you make balanced decisions. When you see differences as tools instead of threats, you'll start appreciating how they complete you rather than compete with you. You can survive disagreements, but you cannot survive disrespect. Even when you don't agree, speak to each other with dignity. Avoid mocking, belittling, or using hurtful labels, because once respect is broken, love starts to fade. A successful marriage is not about erasing differences, but about embracing them with patience and understanding. When you respect what makes your spouse unique, you create a home where both people feel safe to be themselves, and that's when love truly thrives. Question 7. Can I handle the tests that will come? When we imagine marriage, we often picture the highlights: laughter over morning coffee, sweet conversations at night, holidays together. And yes, those moments are real and beautiful, but they're only part of the picture. The truth is, life inside marriage is full of surprises, some good, some hard. No matter how much you plan, you will face situations you never saw coming. You might discover your spouse has hidden talents that amaze you. You may get blessed with children sooner or later than you expected. You might travel to places you never imagined. These moments are unexpected blessings, gifts from Allah you never planned for. Sudden job loss that changes your financial comfort. A health issue that requires patience and support. Family disagreements that put pressure on your relationship. These moments test your faith, patience, and teamwork. If you walk into marriage expecting only ease, every challenge will feel like a betrayal. But if you walk in expecting life to be a mix of ease and difficulty, you won't be shocked when the tests come. You'll be ready to face them. 1. Trust Allah's plan. Everything that happens is written for you, not against you. 2. Build emotional resilience. Learn to stay calm and think clearly in stressful situations. 3. Strengthen your partnership. See challenges as our problem, not your problem. or my problem. Marriage isn't a perfectly scripted movie, it's a journey with plot twists. The couples who last are not the ones who avoid the unexpected, but the ones who face it together, hand in hand, with trust in Allah. In marriage, love may start the journey, but patience is what keeps it alive. Without patience, even the smallest disagreements can turn into big battles. With patience, even the biggest problems can be softened and solved. Your spouse will make mistakes just like you will. There will be days when your expectations aren't met. Life will throw situations at you that neither of you can control. Patience is the ability to hold back anger, delay judgment, and respond with wisdom instead of impulse. In Islam, sabr, patience, is not passive waiting, it's active endurance. It means you keep doing what's right, even when it's hard. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "No one is given a gift better and more comprehensive than patience." Bukhari, Muslim. In marriage, this gift becomes your shield, protecting your relationship from words and actions you might regret later. When you respond with patience instead of frustration, you stop problems from escalating. You earn the pleasure and reward of Allah. You create a safe emotional space for your spouse. 1. Pause before you react, count to 10, make dua, or step away before speaking in anger. 2. Assume good intentions. Believe your spouse didn't mean harm unless proven otherwise. 3. Practice gratitude. Remember the good your spouse has done before judging them on one mistake. 4. Encourage each other. When one is upset, let the other be the calm anchor. Patience is not weakness, it's strength in disguise. It's the power to control yourself in moments that could destroy the peace in your marriage. The more patience you and your spouse develop, the more unshakable your bond becomes. Marriage is not just two people holding hands, it's two hearts walking together toward Allah. No matter how much you love each other, there will be times when human strength is not enough. That's when you both need to lean on the one who never fails, never forgets, and never leaves Allah. When Allah is at the center of your marriage, your love isn't just based on feelings, it's rooted in faith. Your commitment isn't just a promise to each other, it's a promise to Allah. Your patience and forgiveness become acts of worship, not just personal favors. Making dua for each other softens the heart and invites blessings. Praying salah side by side reminds you both of your ultimate purpose. Seeking Allah's help in decisions gives you confidence even in uncertainty. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "When a husband and wife look at each other with love, Allah looks at them with mercy." Bukhari. That mercy comes most when you're both connected to Him. 1. Make Allah part of every plan, whether it's financial goals, children's education, or resolving conflict. Start with Bismillah. 2. Turn hardships into worship. When challenges hit, increase your prayers instead of increasing arguments. 3. Remind each other of the hereafter. This world is temporary. Aim for a marriage that continues in Jannah. 4. Celebrate Islamic milestones. Make Ramadan, Eid, and acts of charity part of your shared journey. When you lean on Allah together, you're never truly alone in your struggles. Even if the world turns its back, you have the strongest ally. And when both spouses seek His pleasure, their hearts naturally grow closer because they're both walking the same path toward the same destination. A marriage built only on emotions will shake when tested, but a marriage built on faith will stand firm like a tree whose roots are deep in the earth. Lean on Allah together, and your bond will not just survive, it will thrive in this world and the next. Marriage is one of the most beautiful gifts Allah has given us, but beauty doesn't come without effort. It's not just about having a perfect spouse, It's about being the kind of spouse who makes the relationship a safe, loving, and spiritually uplifting space. These 7 questions aren't meant to scare you. They're meant to prepare you so you walk into marriage with open eyes, a strong heart, and a deep connection to Allah. Because love alone is not enough. It needs the strength of patience, the clarity of shared values, the wisdom to respect differences, and the humility to lean on Allah in every season of life. It becomes a source of sakoon, tranquility, for both hearts. It's a training ground for patience, compassion, and selflessness. It turns everyday life into an act of worship. Remember, the wedding is just one day, but the marriage is a lifetime. And if you prepare your heart and mind before saying yes, you can step into that lifetime with confidence and peace. Ya Allah, grant me a spouse who will be the coolness of my eyes and a partner in my journey to Jannah. Fill our hearts with love for you and for each other for your sake. Make our marriage a means of earning your pleasure and a shield against the trials of this world and the next. When you choose your spouse, you're not just choosing a partner for this life. You're choosing your companion for the Akhirah. Make that choice with wisdom, prayer, and sincerity, and trust that Allah will bless your union in ways you never imagined. Marriage is not a game. It's not just about matching personalities or sharing hobbies or posting perfect pictures online. It is a sacred covenant, a promise you make not only to each other, but to Allah. When you stand under the sky and say, Qubool Hai, I accept, you're stepping into one of the most important journeys of your life. This journey will shape your faith, test your patience, and refine your character. That's why you can't rush it. That's why you must prepare your heart before your hands ever touch. A wedding can be planned in months. A marriage takes a lifetime to build. It will not always be easy. You will face days when you feel misunderstood, unseen, or tired. But if your bond is built on faith, trust, and mercy, you will rise from every hardship stronger and closer than before. Remember, the best marriages are not perfect, they are purposeful. The couples who survive storms are the ones who decide every single day, I choose you for the sake of Allah. Ya Allah, write for me a marriage that is full of barakah. Grant me a spouse who will bring me closer to you, who will hold my hand on the day of judgment and lead me toward Jannah. Protect our hearts from pride, anger, and selfishness, and fill them with patience, mercy, and gratitude. Make our home a place where your name is remembered and your mercy descends. When you choose your spouse, you're choosing more than a companion. You're choosing the person who will witness your soul in its most vulnerable state, who will know your flaws, your fears, and your deepest dreams. Make that choice carefully, make it prayerfully, and never forget your marriage is not just about finding someone to live with. It's about finding someone you want to be resurrected with, a partner in faith, a partner in patience, a partner in the journey to Jannah.